Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, along with Andrew Moran, Dave Patterson, Graham Noble, and John Clark. And this is The Conservative Five, an online TV production of Liberty Nation News. If you have all day long to take in the Senate confirmation hearings, then retirement is being good to you. It's been a lot of spicy talk between senators and candidates, and it would appear that Trump's people are winning the votes. A good hearing involves elected officials asking pertinent questions. Well, Dave, has that even happened, or are we still asking ridiculous things? And also, along the lines of the intro, tell us about Marco Rubio's swearing in.
Well, let's talk about his confirmation hearing first. I mean, it was a love-in, right? I mean, everybody was pretty complimentary to Marco Rubio. But to his credit, he did not take this as an abrogation of his responsibility to explain exactly what he was about. And he's about President Trump's business. Secretary of State, he was sworn in on Tuesday. And Vice President J.D. Vance officiated. And as you would expect, the Rubio family was present. And during his little talk, Secretary Rubio reiterated what we all wanted to hear. He told the audience that the priority of the United States Department of State will be the United States. Oh, my gosh. What a concept. It's been long absent from Bob Burnham. No, he also restated what he said in his confirmation hearing, which I think is important, and that is that the State Department's job will be to make the U.S. stronger, safer, and more prosperous. And that's what we all want. If U.S. foreign policies don't do that, he said, then they won't be U.S. foreign policies. And oh, by the way, one of the executive orders that President Trump just put out was that there would be only one flag flying over the embassies and agencies outside the United States, and that's the United States American flag.
Hey, Money Man, let's talk Scott Bassett and Russell Vought. Vote. Should have told me how to say that.
Yeah, all the senators, they were saying something. They kept saying Vought. They kept asking, how do you say it again? What's your name?
Okay, well, to Mr. Vote, I apologize, and I won't get it wrong again. So anyway, thank you guys. Let's go.
These hearings. Oh my goodness, I watch all these hearings for years and years and years. And toward the end of it, when I see the Republican or Democrat side empty, I think, oh, okay, it's going to come to an end soon. And then I see another senator just pop up out of nowhere and ask questions. It just goes on and on. So anyway, okay. So the first one, Scott Bessent, he is the U.S. Treasury nominee. He's a billionaire financier. He worked with George Soros. He at the Senate Finance Committee, they advanced his confirmation to the Senate floor thanks to two Democrats, Warner and Hassan, joining the Republicans. Now, that hearing, it was based mostly on him promoting the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, or TCJA, defending Trump's tariff plans and all that stuff. But a lot of Democrats are upset because because of some tax dispute that he's having with the IRS. Ron Wyden said that Bessent wasn't prepared for these hearings because he was stuttering and stammering and pausing. And I watched Bessent many times in the media and these hearings, and there is some truth to that. He's not very good in front of the press. He's a smart guy. He has all the great qualification, which everyone said he does. He's a billionaire for a reason. He's not the Trumpian type to appear in front of lawmakers. Now, the second one, Mr. Vote, he's a former Heritage Foundation individual. He was head of a sister organization. He wrote one chapter of a Project 2025, but they all say he's the co-author. So the main thing with Russell Vought is that they're worried about his view of the purse strings. Does the executive branch have the power, or Congress? They're worried that the White House will withhold funding appropriated by Congress. They were citing a 1974 law that says that provides guardrails for the president, so he can't slash any funding or cancel any funding from the Congress. So it's all about the brass tacks with Bessent and Vought, but it looks like at the time of this recording, anyway, that they're going to be confirmed for these positions.
Hey, well, that's good to know. And gosh, what a wide variety of people right there. Both spectrums of affiliations, let's say. John Clark, What's going on with Robert Kennedy Jr. and Brooke Rollins?
Yeah, I think I have the toughest confirmation and the easiest one to discuss here. Andrew speaking reminds me, though, it seems that no matter who this president nominates, they're going to complain. I was joking through the process that he should promote or nominate Kamala Harris, maybe for Department of Education. Then he could just, wipe it out afterwards. But I wonder if they would go against Kamala Harris. Does anyone meet their requirements? Brooke Rollins, I don't think, is going to have a problem. I think they will be hammering her on the farm bill, I've seen Politico and others talking about how Americans' grocery prices are going to go through the roof if you deport illegals. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. In fact,
that is not true. That is not the case.
Talk about waste. We have plenty of legal immigrants and legal Americans and more mechanization. That is just totally false. They can't go after, there have been some questions about her finances. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Some have said she doesn't have the experience. Whoop-de-doo. It's not an issue. She doesn't seem to have any criminal felony convictions, sexual assaults, or I haven't seen any pictures of her in blackface. And they've even been going after her husband. So I think the hearing will be focused on the farm bill and potentially tariffs, which, like Doge, I think it's wise that they are taking it slowly despite the rhetoric. Now, in Kennedy's case, he hasn't even been scheduled yet. And of course, we all know that there's just a firestorm surrounding him. And I find this interesting. The chief complaint seemed to be his abortion stance, and he's been a flip-flopper. And so that means he's managed to upset both sides on that. I don't think it's going to carry much weight. I think what's going to be the focus is that Big Pharma does not like him. Big Pharma controls MSM, and a lot of our other education and other institutions have way too much influence. This guy is a real threat to them. And by the way, he's another example of why there's no shadow presidency in Elon Musk. Donald Trump has shown he's willing to share power in the form of delegating the MAHA agenda to Bobby Kennedy. And they don't want to make America healthy again if it means questioning vaccines again. Here's my take. I think Kennedy will get confirmed for two reasons. One is I saw one, I think it was USA Today, says he's created this image of himself as a toxic anti-vaxxer. No, actually, mainstream media created that. He's not completely anti-vax. And when he gets in front of the American people and these Congress people, some of whom he's already turning, he is extraordinarily intelligent. He has a great command of the facts. He's a very experienced litigation attorney. He speaks very forcefully, and I think he will dance circles around them when they circle around him. And I think he will counter their complaints and just prove that he's not there to make us all die because we don't have the next Bill Gates mRNA mosquito creation. But another thing that is a backdrop here is if there's one candidate that it would be really a third rail for Democrats to touch, it would be getting rid of this one because he's the walkaway and he has the libertarians behind him. And he has a certain component of this whole agenda, which has, been relegated to him. And a lot of Americans, when 90% of Americans say they want beef tallow back in their Steak and Shake restaurant, which will be coming up in an article. I'm talking 90%. Was that bipartisan? I mean, Republicans want to eat the junk food, right? So it has to be, and I'm seeing it. A lot of Democrats like that part of the messaging about MAHA, about ultra-processed foods. It's not just the focus on vaccines that Big Pharma and the extremists want to make it. I think Kennedy will go through, and if not, there's going to be political hell to pay. If not right now, then in 2 years when the Democrats who wouldn't approve him answer to their own constituents about where their priorities are.
Well, I can't wait to go to Steak and Shake. Anyway, that's one of my favorite junk food places. Anyway, Graham, and I watched this hearing, and one of the spiciest exchanges was when Pam Bondi was on the hot seat.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, Pam Bondi is a smart woman, obviously very qualified to be the nominee for Attorney General. She was the Attorney General for many years of one of the most populous states in the country, Florida, of course. She's no pushover. She's no shrinking violet, for sure. And of course, of all the people on a congressional committee that you can rely on to either ask a stupid question or to just turn it into a grandstanding piece of theater, other than Mazie Hirono, of course, who just beclowned herself at every turn during these confirmation hearings, is, of course, Adam Shifty Schiff. And he decided to make the terrible mistake of trying to go after Pam Bondi, and she just tore him up. I mean, she chewed him up and spat him out. And she actually pointed out in the hearing that, he was censured right in Congress.
Now remind everybody watching today what your problems have been.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she totally went. I mean, she ended up going after him every bit as much as he was going after her. She wasn't about to take that, and especially not from him, because he's
right.
Everyone knows by now. It's not controversial for me to say that he is a known serial liar. Everyone knows that now. And of course, he was censured for it. And to this day, he has yet to produce the evidence that he has that shows that the Steele dossier and the Russian collusion thing was all true. You've still never seen that. And I think he should be pressed firmly to show that, by the way, but that's another story. But anyway, Pam Bondi, yeah, great. But because she went after Schiff, or rather just simply defended herself forcefully against his stupid line of questioning, her advancement of her nomination out of committee has now been stalled by the Democrats for a week. They can do that in committee. Anything that is going to come out of a senatorial committee can be held up for a minimum of 7 days, and the Democrats have done that. So Pam Bondi's nomination is now on ice until sometime next week. And also, surprise, surprise, John Ratcliffe, who is the nomination to head the CIA, and again, very qualified to do that. We haven't heard much about him. But his nomination was advanced out of committee almost unanimously. I think there was like 3 votes against him. But it's advanced out of committee. But now the Democrats are using procedural mechanisms to block the full vote on him.
Just can't accept defeat.
Yeah. I just want to throw this in real quick. Ever since January 6th, 2021, when, to borrow from Ilhan Omar, some people did something. We have had this situation where the Democrats always go on about respecting the smooth transition of power. Well, the smooth transition of power, a big part of that is nominating, is confirming the president's nominees for his new cabinet. And for the Democrats to be holding this up is another example of they don't really honor the smooth transition of power at all.
Give you that.
Was it shocking?
Yeah, what a shocker. Well, guys, Trump's cabinet is coming together, whether the Democrats like it or not, and we await that 100-day mark to assess the success or failure of what the president has thought about for the last 4 years of what he wants to do next. Thanks, panel. Thanks for watching. See you next time. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all as well. Liberty Nation News has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Now, Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates, campaigns, or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. I'm your host, Sarah Cowgill. Thanks for joining us today. For the latest news and commentary, your choice for free thinking, free speech, libertynation.com.